Thank you so much for doing this today. I just want to ask you a few questions about your career because you've had an amazing career. So what's been your hardest race? A race that will be very special to you?
I think probably I'll go with Beijing 2015 was my first World Championships, and it was kind of a big sort of learning curve, the highest competition I'd ever competed at.
Okay.
And until you do those competitions, you kind of don't have the experience to do them. So it was and obviously China is a completely different country. So much to learn about that and dealing with that. So that taught me well. My favorite, my most memorable, it's probably it's always stuck between Rio Olympics in 2016 and the Commonwealth Games in 2018, where I got a silver medal. I was England captain as well. But Rio was like British record day, 6th at the Olympics. It was a real breakthrough for me as well, because I was ranked about 27th, 30th or something going in. So, I don't know if I can pick.
Was there any race walker that you looked up to? I mean, how did you get into it as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a kind of unknown event in a lot of countries. There's some that it's incredibly popular and well known, but in the UK, it's not at all. Yet we've got a lot of medals in it, and so. I think the person that I kind of looked up to the most was just my coach. He just supported me. He was a real sort of club coach. He just encouraged kids to have fun, do athletics, and enjoy being outside and doing sport. And whenever there was a race or anything, he just always found something positive to say, even if I'd had a really bad race. But when I was a teenager, it was all the time. So. That's how I just joined Tunbridge Athletics Club as an 11-year-old and gave it a go. And yeah.
Great. How has lockdown been for you? Has it been very challenging or has it been a break you needed?
It's been a bit 50-50 really. Like the first kind of when we all were thrown into this and there was no sort of end in sight, there was no, the unknowns were coming day by day. It was refreshing because pretty much since I've been 18, I've been targeting the next race and the next goal or whatever it was, and that had been completely taken out of my hands. It's not even like when you're injured, you've got a hopefully injury will come to an end and you start. This is just completely unknown, and so it was a chance to be a pretty normal person with my fiance and just. We scaled sort of training right back. Yeah. I just enjoyed being pretty boring.
You're always defending LGBT, which you should and which everyone should. How has that been for you coming out? Did you have loads of support or was it challenging at times?
Race walking is part of the athletics sort of family. And so these teams are so big. They've got like 70 odd athletes in them whenever we go abroad, and so it's so diverse. I think that's what makes athletics so accepting and a welcoming environment most of the time, because you've got so there's an event for everybody, like every body type, every sort of whatever plays into your strength, whether you're a sprinter, endurance, you're just pure strength and a thrower, so it takes all sorts, and so there was never any issues. I mean, I'm not famous. I'm not, I'm not sort of in the public eye that often.
Record holder, but okay.
And well, I just couldn't believe the reaction I got, and I especially when I came out publicly, I couldn't believe the interest in it because I was really a nobody. I hadn't really achieved anything more than another athlete at my level, if you get what I mean. So it opened my eyes to a world that I wish didn't exist, but it did. And I'm so glad it does. I'm glad I kind of have come out and did what I did, because I didn't realize the impact it would have and the importance of kind of living openly and being visible. So
of course.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Great. Yeah. What motivates you to get up and train? What is your goal? What's your next goal, I should say?
Yeah, well, I mean, at the moment, it's literally it. Races are back, and so it feels a little bit more normal. And hopefully, the Olympics will go ahead. And so, at the moment, it's obviously going to my second Olympics would be awesome. I've qualified and everything. The edge has been taken off sport and everything in life, really, that we've enjoyed. But traveling the world was one of my favourite things that I got to do. And now
what has been your favourite place that you travel to, your favourite country?
I love Australia.
Do you?
Rio is obviously very special and an incredible place. But yeah, I love Australia.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess the Olympics and just kind of seeing what else I could achieve at this point in my career.
Are you aiming for the Commonwealth Games next year in Birmingham?
Absolutely, yes. I'm proudly sit on the athlete commission there for Birmingham 2022. And yeah, definitely, it's going to be a crazy summer of sport, but we can't really complain after the last 18 months.
Yeah,
we've had
a
few races. So who knows how I'll do after the World Championships 10 days before and the European Championships about 10 days after. So I can't wait to compete.
What's the hardest thing about being an athlete? Is it the diet or the training?
Being on top of it all.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you master one bit, it's so easy to let something else kind of fall behind through no fault of your own, because you've just got to, your life has to be so strict, and so it's such a strict routine. And
of course,
it's easy to do when you're in the routine, but it takes years to kind of master that and work out what works for you.
Yeah.
So, and when you've been doing it 11 years, sometimes you just want a bit of a break.
Yeah. What advice would you give young people that wants to do race walking?
I think with any athletics event, just go along and give it a go. Don't expect, to be the best in the world after a couple of sessions. Everybody wants the kind of success now. I look back and I really enjoyed the milestones, the things I achieved on the way, which I don't think all athletes do whatsoever, until it's like a major medal or major championships. They forget the in-between.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, not everybody's going to hit the very highest level. And so if you don't enjoy the in-between, you're going to miss out on the purpose you're doing it. And for me, I never dreamt I'd get to this level. So every time I achieve something, I just thought, this is the best thing ever.
What would you like to do after you retire? Would you like to go into coaching, or what's your plans for that?
I don't know, and it's probably not too far away now, so I better start thinking about it, to be honest. But I would love to go into the media of some kind, whether that's in front of the camera, behind the camera, on radio, presenting, commentating. I love the sport of athletics. I love kind of talking to people and getting to know people in and out of sport as well. So hopefully that world I can open some doors and make some connections now.
Has there been a moment in your career where you thought, I don't want to do this anymore, I can't do it, it's too hard?
After London 2017, after such a huge disappointment and the effect on my life, and it made me realise it had taken over my life negatively, and I needed to make sure I could enjoy this by having other things going on in my life and make athletics benefit my life rather than take over it. So, but even just the last month, it's been awful weather. There's always something hurting on your body. There's always reasons to not go out the front door and go training. And you just have to manage those. And every athlete gets like that. And that's an important message to say.
Race walking doesn't get the recognition it deserves. What do you think people can do to help this, really?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And I think by accident, what my career has kind of taken race walking to places it hasn't been. And I really have had a passion about like at least bringing it back into mainstream athletics, and achieving things like getting races in the Diamond League events in the UK. And, even just when I compete at major championships, Olympics, Worlds, having the races televised on BBC, not just one of the far-flung red buttons or live stream or something like that. So that I've managed to achieve, but there's so much more to do and go and kind of to get the event understood of how fast we walk, kind of the jeopardy about being disqualified, and kind of the almost the excitement that adds towards the end of a race. And so there's so much more to the event than people realize.
Of course.
And maybe as my career comes to an end and I start heading into that maybe media world that I'd like to, it kind of takes that hand in hand a little bit. I've had some decent coverage more recently, and again, it's had loads of people interested in talking or saying, "Oh, I've seen this guy, and he walks faster than I run," and that's kind of a really real cool message to get across.
Who's your favorite athlete at the moment?
Oof. Oh, I don't know. Can I say every single British 1500 metre or 800 metre runner, male and female? Because it's phenomenal at the moment. But you know what? That's a really good question. I've never been asked that question, and I like it when people manage to ask a question like that. Who is my favourite athlete? I will have to say Laura Muir.
Great. Well, that's all the questions. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for answering them brilliantly. I hope you have an amazing week as well.
Oh, well, thanks for taking the time to ask and get in touch.
Thank you. Keep in touch and take care.
All right.